Welcome back, everybody. Today we're hacking HackTheBox, but it's not quite what you're thinking. We're diving into something truly special today. HackTheBox's 2 million machine. This machine was made to celebrate an amazing milestone of 2 million members in the HackTheBox community. And it's kind of like a trip back in time with a website that looks just like the old HackTheBox platform. We'll even solve the original invite code challenge to get started. And then from there, the fun really begins. We'll explore an API to find a way to become an admin, and then uncover a command injection, and finally use some database passwords to level up. And then we'll dive into one of the most mind-bending and fun kernel exploits that I've had a chance to look into. This video is going to be awesome, so stick around and let's hack HackTheBox together. If you're new here, I'm Alupulu, a cyber enthusiast who loves CDF challenges, pen testing, and all things hacking. So without further ado, let's dive right in. All right, now that we have the IP address, let's go ahead and throw that IP address into our Etsy host file so that we don't have to remember the IP address. We could just remember the name. In this case, the name of the machine is called 2Million. So let's do a sudo nano Etsy host. And I've already thrown in the IP address for this HackTheBox machine, and I've assigned it the 2million.htb name. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to save it, and this is nano. So I'm going to do Control O to save it, hit enter, and then Control exit to exit out of nano. From here, I'm going to clear it, and then we could also ping 2million.htb to make sure that we're able to access it, that our VPN is in fact connected, and it looks like it is because it's showing us a response. So that's awesome. Let's clear it and then do our typical Nmap recon scan. In this case, Nmap, we're going to do a P flag for all the ports. In this case, it's going to scan all 65,000 or so ports, and we're doing it with a min rate of 10,000 because we want to be quick and we're not worried about some blue defender looking at the logs or anything like that. And here we go. It finished under 7 seconds, and it comes back with 2 ports. 22 TCP open for SSH, which that's interesting. That's good to know because maybe we do get some credentials. Moving forward, we can figure out, oh, do we need to SSH in or not? The other is an 80 TCP for HTTP, which that's pretty standard web application port open. So now we know we're targeting a web app for this machine. So let's go ahead and do a little bit more of a specific scan. In this case, we're using the P flag to target these 2 ports, the 22 and the 80, and we're using these flags, and we're saving the output here in the Nmap scan in the 2million directory, which is a directory in the HackTheBox directory for the 2million.htb, which is what we saved the IP address in the Etsy host file. So I'm going to run that, and again, I'm going to show you on the screen what these commands indicate so that you know what they are going forward. And here we go. That finished under 9 seconds. So here is a little bit more information on those 2 ports. Let's see, the Open SSH, it looks like it's pretty up to date. It is on Ubuntu Linux protocol 2.0. And the other interesting part is, here we go. For the 80 TCP, it shows us a did not follow redirect. And here's the interesting part. The redirect is for the 2million.htb, but instead of the word 2, it's the number 2. So we do need to go ahead and update that in our Etsy host. So let's clear it and then do a sudo nano Etsy host again. And we'll go over here, and we'll save it as 2million.htb, and this is the number. So we'll save it, clear it, and then go from there. Now, what I like typically doing from here is I'll always run a Ffuf enumeration scan for the subdomains. I just love using Ffuf for this. It's so simple. It's a command that it's kept from all the other machines. And here we go. In this case, you may not have the FS flag, so you're going to run it without it, and you're going to get a bunch of mess like this. So you can filter size based on size, by words, by lines. What I'm going to do is I'm going to Control C it to stop it. I'm going to clear it. And then I'm going to go back into my command and add in the FS flag for the 162. So we'll let that run, and it looks like that's running. It's shooting out a bunch of requests of around 1,000, 1,500 requests per second. So that's awesome. So we're going to let that run in the background. And from here, we're going up into Burp Suite. We're going to launch Burp Suite. This is the community edition. You don't need the professional. Community will get the job done. So let's go ahead and get that started. And then I like just going into the proxy tab and just waiting on this tab. And from here, going into Firefox and starting that up. So now that Ffuf's running in the background, let's go ahead and take a look at this website. So HTTP 2million, whoops, 2million.htb. Here we go. Okay, so it looks like it's coming back as HackTheBox. We're hacking HackTheBox. HackTheBox penetration testing labs, okay? Very cool. It looks like this is a YouTube video that's probably out of scope, so we're not gonna mess with that. But let's go ahead and take a look. So what I like doing now is I like going through the website and looking to see exactly what pages are built out so we know what our attack vector is and where to look for those clues. In this case, when I'm at the top and I hit here FAQ, you can see in the bottom left corner, there is an anchor tag to the FAQ page on the landing page. So whenever I click it, it's going to this anchor tag here. So that's interesting. Here is for join, for commercial, for labs, for Hall of Fame. Look at these chads. Look at these guys. And then for login. Okay, so login, there is a page built out for login that does redirect us. So that's awesome. Let's go ahead and take a look at the page source for the login and see if there's any hidden clues here in terms of like easy wins. So we're seeing some H references for HackTheBox.eu. Again, that's out of scope. Seeing some image favicons, CSS, that's not really important. But here we go. We're seeing for the login form, it's making a post request. And it looks like there is an API endpoint. So API version 1, user login. So that's interesting. We might have to maybe enumerate that for subdirectories. We could start targeting to see, maybe run a Ferox buster, but let's continue on and see what else there is. And here is the front end JS. I don't think that is anything. Wow, that is a lot of code. That is a lot of code indeed. All right. I'm not sure if that is anything. Let's go ahead and copy it. And I know in the CBBH Academy path, there is a module for JavaScript obfuscation or deobfuscation. And they recommend doing like some type of beautify. So beautify JavaScript maybe. They do recommend a bunch of things, but I think I remember this one being one of them. So here we go. We're going to do that. And we do need to make sure here to detect packers and obfuscators. So I'm going to click that to see if it does anything. All right. And here we go. So it did take care of that. Let me zoom in so everybody can see. And it did de-obfuscated, but it looks like this is still a lot of code to go through. I don't think this is anything. I think maybe this might be a rabbit hole. If we run into dead ends, we'll come back to this. So let's go ahead and go back and continue on. So close out of that. So we have a login. Maybe we could do like admin at HackTheBox dot, or actually it wouldn't be HackTheBox, right? It'd be 2million.htb. And let's take a look, see if we can log in. Okay, so there is no user found for an admin account. Very interesting. So maybe we need to figure out if there's any type of credentials. The other thing we could do, let's try doing like a single quotation and see what happens. Okay, that didn't really give us an error. Okay, so that's not working out for us. Now there is if you don't remember your password, so I don't think that goes anywhere, so that doesn't do anything. Okay, yes. So we need to figure this part out. So this looks like a dead end for the moment. We're not getting anywhere. We probably need to figure out some type of credentials, or I don't know. Let's continue back to the page. So we did log in and that redirected us. Let's take a look at anything else. Maybe take a look at the page source. All right, hrefs for HackTheBox. We're not going to touch that. That is out of scope. Here are the anchors for the page: about, FAQ, join. Okay. Here's the images. All right. Let's see here. Here is again out of scope for the form. Okay, so there is an invite. So let's go ahead and click that and take a look at the invite. All right, here we go. So this is another page that's built out, and this one says, "Hi, feel free to hack your way in." Okay, so that's pretty promising. So in this case, this might be our attack vector first, and it looks like there is some type of invite code that we need to figure out in terms of signing in. Let's take a look. If you are already a member, click here. Let's see what that, okay, so we need to figure this part out first, because you can see here in the bottom left, if you are already a member, which I'm assuming once we crack this and get an invite code, it says here, if you're already a member, click here to log in, and that redirects us to the login page. So we need to figure out this part first before going to the login page. So those two now add up in my mind. So, okay, so let's take a look at the page source and see what's going on here. All right, here's the core CSS. That's nothing really. That's just styling sheets. But here we go. We're getting a scripts comment, and here are the script tags. So here is the script tag, and it looks like for this particular invite API endpoint, it looks like it's sending us a post request for the data type JSON, and we're sending form data for this API endpoint. Okay, so there is an API endpoint version 1 for invite for verify. So once we get the code, we're going to do a post request with that data, and it's going to be sent as the form data, and it's going to verify if it's a legit code or not. In this case, invite code is valid. And then it will reference us. If it's invalid, please try again. Okay, very cool. So we need to figure out how to generate that. So maybe what we need to do is do some type of like, I don't know, like enumeration, a Ffuf scan, or maybe a Ferox buster on this API endpoint. What else can we do? Okay, here's something else. They may have needed to obfuscate this, but this kind of pops out now that I'm looking at it a little bit more closely. For the JavaScript, there is an invite API.min.js. So min is typically like minifies or minified or like obfuscated in some function, but it is a JavaScript and it shows invite API. So let's click that, and okay. So we're seeing an obfuscated minified version for this JavaScript. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, and this looks exactly like something from the CBBH path that I saw in the JavaScript de-obfuscation module. So I actually have something very similar. I noticed this in my notes here. The eval function packed is very specific in my notes. And so I know exactly what to do. I'm going to copy this, go back into the beautifier, and I'm going to, let's refresh this. And I'm going to paste that in there. And again, just making sure to click here, detect packers, because it is packed. And I'm going to beautify it. And here we go. We got some code back. And thank you, JS Beautify. So I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to go back into my terminal. And it looks like Ffuf scan did not find us any hidden subdomains. So that sucks, but that's also a relief because we know now that we're not targeting any other domains or subdomains in this manner. We're just focusing on this one domain. So let's clear it. And I'm going to nano the invite API.js, and I'm going to paste in exactly that code from the beautifier that we got. And I'm going to save it. I'm going to exit. And now I can cat the invite API. And I have a reference now going forward in my terminal. I don't have to go back to the website to take a look at it. So let's take a look at this. Okay, here is the first function, and it's doing the verification one, right? The post request with the JSON data type and the form data for this API endpoint, which is the verify. And then there's going to be a success function and an error function. And what's interesting is here is the API endpoint for how to generate it. So we could have gone this a number of ways. We could probably enumerated it or brute forced and found it that way, but it's very awesome that we found it through the page source. So that's why I always like looking at page source and looking at JavaScript and seeing if there's any quick wins rather than trying to like brute force enumerate these directories to see. So now that we now know that we know that it's a post, we can go ahead and open up a new window. So I'm going to open up a new window, and I'm going to curl that. I'm going to curl this API endpoint, right? Because we want to generate this code. So to do that, I'm going to do a curl request, and here it is. So typically I like doing it without the JQ, but we know that we do need to use JQ because the data type that comes back is going to be JSON. So JQ is a very nice tool that outputs the JSON data type. In this case, if I run it without it, this is what it looks like. And it will get the job done, don't get me wrong. But if we add the nice little JQ to it, you could see that just looks so much better. And even then we could even go in and add another flag here for the S so that it doesn't output this information here. So if we run that, we get that. So that's awesome. Let's do that again. Boom. There we go. So we can copy this and throw that into our notes. Now we know, okay, we curled that API endpoint to generate, and we got back a 200 okay, a success. And here is the data. So we got back this data, and I'm going to copy this as well. Have it in my little note clip there. And it looks like we're getting some type of encryption because here's the hint. Data is encrypted. We should probably check the encryption type in order to decrypt it. And it looks like the encrypted type is the raw13. So let's go ahead and decrypt it and see what this data is. So let's do that now. So we'll go back into the browser and we'll do raw13 decrypt. And if I could spell, and let's just see what pops up. So here's the first one. Let's see if we can try it. Okay, there it goes. So ciphertext. In order to generate, let me see if I can zoom in. In order to generate the invite code, you need to make a post request to the API version 1 invite generate. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy that. And let's do that too. So the difference is it's API version 1 invite generate, and here's API version invite how to generate. So I guess we're just removing the how and the to, and we probably could have found that out through the enumeration as well, but let's go ahead and remove that. And there we go. So we got back a success. We could even JQ it. We don't need to, but we can. And there is our code, and it looks like it shows us it is a format encoded, but I'm noticing this might be base 64 encoded. So let's go ahead and see. I'm gonna paste it in. I'm gonna echo it, and then I'm gonna paste it in. And then I'm gonna pipe it into base 64, decode the D flag. So there we go. Here is our invite code. That is awesome. So I'm gonna copy that. And now that we got that, we can go ahead and go back into the website. And let's see, let's throw that in there and let's sign up. And we were successful. We were able to sign up with that invite code that we found. So let's go ahead and throw in our credentials. So what I like usually doing is I'll do admin just to fingerprint if there is an admin account or not. But you don't need to. But what I'm going to do is that's what I usually like doing just to see, because that just takes care of it. If it comes back with an error, we know there's an admin account that we could potentially attack. So admin password is super secret password. And let's register it. Okay, and that redirected us to the login page. And now we can log in with admin, hopefully. And there we go. We got access to the HackTheBox. We hacked HackTheBox. We got into the panel. So that's awesome. So let's go and take a look. Now we're not really an admin. We just made an admin account. We're just a fake admin on this box, but we now know there is no admin account on here. So let's continue on. Let's take a look at our profile. Maybe there is like a way where you could do some type of reverse shell by file upload. That would be awesome. In this case, the view profile, you can look at the bottom left corner. There isn't anything built out. So the only thing that is built out is the logout page. We don't want to log out. Okay. Let's take a look. So now we're looking to see what is built out. So there is a Holmes rule. Okay. Gives us some information. Not seeing anything though. There is a change log. All right. There are some usernames, but I don't know if they are relevant or not. All right. All right, let's keep going. Ideas and feedback. Looks like that's a dead end. That's a dead end. Looking for a job. That's a dead end. Dead end. Okay. There has to be something. All right, here's a lab. So we can access the labs. And we're getting a server here. An Edge EU free HackTheBox.eu. I'm not sure I think that's out of scope because I'm seeing HackTheBox.eu, so I don't think that's relevant in any manner. All right, let's continue on. What does that do? That doesn't do anything for us. Okay. Okay, so there is... All right, here we go. I think we found our attack vector. While hovering over the regenerate and the connection pack, there are two API endpoints on the bottom left. API version 1, user VPN regenerate, and API version user VPN generate. Okay, so generate and regenerate. So let's go ahead and go into our Burp Suite now and turn it on and start messing around with this. So let's see what happens when we hit regenerate. Here we go. Burp Suite comes back with a request, a get request for this API endpoint regenerate. And we do have a cookie, and I'm assuming that cookie is based on the fact that we are logged in now to the dashboard. But I'm not seeing anything relevant in that request. I'm going to just forward it. And that didn't do anything. Okay, what about this one for generate? That didn't do anything either. All right. And now I'm getting some Mozilla requests popping up. Okay. So let's continue on. Let's see if there's anything else. That we can kind of piece together and see what's going on. Because this has to be some relevance to it. There has to be some type of connection to this with something else. But I'm missing it. All right. All right, let's zoom out. Maybe it was too zoomed in. Let's take a look at this with fresh eyes. So we're seeing access. Yes, okay. Generate. So maybe, let's see. Let's send this to repeater. And now Google's messing with me. Okay, let's send this again. All right, so we got something back when we started sending it through Burp Suite. So we got a 200 okay, but here we go. We're getting some information here. All right, so we're just getting a number of keys. And if I highlight this and I look in Inspector, does it help us in any way? It doesn't. Okay. I feel like the private certificate and the keys are just there to kind of throw us off. We need to dig through this and figure out what are we missing. It's probably a lot simpler than we're making it out to be. Let's start doing what I like doing is I like stripping it away and seeing if there's any errors or if there's any other indicators for us. In this case, we're doing a generate. So let's go ahead and just send it with a VPN and see what that does. And in this case, it's moved permanently. Let's follow the redirection. 404 not found. Maybe we just do API. Let's just do API and see what that does. Okay, version 1 of API. So we do need to add a version 1. Okay, so here we go. So we got back something more now, and this is really, really promising because it's spilling us some secrets. It's spilling us some version 1 information that we probably should not have. In this case, here are some endpoints that we could target. So we remember the regenerate and generate. That's what the two we were messing with. And we did find in the source code the how to generate. And when we deobfuscated it and did the rot13, we found the generate and then we verified it. So those are eliminated. And then we did successfully authenticate, I think. Check if the user is authenticated. I don't think we've done that yet. So that might be a new one. Because we did log in and we did register. All right, so let's try that. We could do a get for user auth and see what that does. Is logged in, username admin. Now remember, the admin is not a real admin. That's just the admin account that we signed up to. It could be anything. It could be Neospring. But what's interesting here is the is admin is 0. So we want to change that to 1 because we do want to take our account to make it an actual admin. So that's awesome. So now we know how to verify, or at least how to check to see if we are an admin account. Now let's go back to the version 1. So we know, what did I do? We know, here we go. We know this. All right. The other thing is the download. We can download something. We can download the OpenVPN file. And here is for the admin. So we did the admin auth. We know we're not an admin. generate VPN for specific user. And here we go. There is a put request for update user settings. So, okay, so that's pretty promising. Let's go ahead and try that. We'll do a put for admin settings, right? Update, and see what that does. Okay, and we're getting a 200 back, but we are running into some issues here. We're getting a status danger, invalid content type. So what type of content would it be? Since we're getting back a JSON data in the response for the 200 OK, and it's coming back as a content type with application JSON, we might as well copy that and throw that into our request and see if that helps us get beyond this invalid content type. Now, before I copy that and send it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually change the request method back to a post, so it updates the content type and content length here. And I'm going to just copy here the application /JSON because that's what we're trying to do. Because if we send it just like this, you see here we're getting back a 405 method not allowed. So we do need to change it to a put. But if we change it to a put and we don't update the content type and we send it, you can still see we get in an invalid content type. So let's copy then the content type here so we could troubleshoot this error. And we're going to paste that right there. And we're doing content length at 0. There is no data in there. We're going to send it. And here we go. We got back another message. In this case, a status danger for a message missing parameter for email. So we need to, since we're sending the content type as JSON, we need to start constructing our JSON data. In this case, we're missing the email. So let's go ahead and try doing maybe an email. Let's see, like email. How do we do this cleanly? Quotations. And then what are we? We're admin, right? At 2,000,000. 2,000,000 HackTheBox, and I think, let me check. I think these need to be in quotations as well. And then we'll end it like this. Okay. So we could take a look here. So status is in quotation, emails in quotation, danger is in quotation, admin at login is in quotation. Okay. So maybe the other thing we're missing is the status, but let's go ahead and resolve this email one because that looks like it's the same. Let's send that and see. Okay, we're getting back another message. So we're slowly progressing through this. We're missing a parameter, is admin parameter. Okay, so maybe we need to add it. So let's take a look at how this is structured. There is that there. Okay. And then we'll do, so we'll do a comment. So it's asking us an is underscore admin. And then remember when we did do a call for that admin, remember it was a 0 that showed us when we tried to authenticate our account for admin, it showed us 0. So I'm assuming then we would probably need to do a 1. And let's send it. Okay, so we got back something. Okay, so we're getting back an ID 13 for the username admin, and the admin is 1. So okay, now that we know that we have an ID, what do we do next? So what do we? Let's see. What can I do? Let's go back into the browser. I'm gonna leave that tab there, and I'm gonna do another proxy and just do a connection one and send this to repeater. Forward it, and here we can go back to the version 1 that we want to send, and we want to do an admin auth. We want to check if the user is admin. So let's just verify if we actually did become an admin or not. So here we go. And it comes back with a message being true. So our account is an admin account now. So that is awesome. We go back into the browser, we could probably refresh it, turn off intercept, and we probably are an admin account now. So let's take a look. Is there anything new that happened with that though? I don't know. That's the question. It looks like nothing really changed now that we are an admin. So we need to go back into probably the API and figure out the rest of this API. Because we are an admin now, let's see what the rest of the admin requests are. So now that we are an admin and we checked it and we updated it, the last thing we have now is a post request for the VPN generate. So let's take a look at that now. So here we go. We do admin VPN generate, and let's see what that does. So that is sending us a 405 method not allowed. Let's take a look at that again. That was a post request. So let's go back. We can right click, change request, and send it as a post. And here we go. So we're getting back a 200 OK, but we're getting back again. And this time it's not Java, it's not JSON. You see here content type is actually text HTML. Care set UTF. So we're getting back a danger message invalid content type. So maybe if we did JSON, let's see what that would do. Okay, so we're getting back a parameter username. So we need to do the username. So let's go back into the first tab. And what was our username? Here we go. Let's just copy this. Right, our username is admin, or maybe we need to put in ID. I don't know. Let's try that and see what that does. Okay, we got back something now. Let's take a look at this. So we're getting some type of certifications. Okay, some private keys and an open VPN static key. This is kind of the same thing we were running into last time. This seems like it's kind of like a rabbit hole. It's kind of there just to like mess with us. So that's probably not the way. So now that we got here, there is no other pass, right? Because we've hit pretty much all the other API endpoints, but this is going through. So there has to be something here. Maybe we do like, because we've done this in the past where we tried a command injection by just doing a simple ID, or maybe we need to do looks like my space is not working. And that's not working. So why isn't my space not working? Oh, that's so interesting. Okay, let's try that. There it goes. Okay, let's try this. Missing parameter. So it looks like code injection is not working for us. Maybe we need to, instead of putting it outside the admin, maybe we need to try it inside. Let's try it inside. All right. Okay, since that's going through and we're getting a 200 for the ID within the parameter for the admin, and we're doing like a command injection for ID, but we're not getting an output. Let's see if we can, maybe we need to like comment out the rest of it so we can get an actual command injection for the ID command. And the way to do that is using this to comment out anything else. So it's pretty much just using it as a way of ensuring clean execution for command injection. So let's try that and send it and see if that works. And we did get back something. We got back an ID. So that is awesome. We're getting back a WW data for the ID. If that's the case, we can even probably try LS and see. And yes, LS does work. So we're getting a very simple command injection through this API endpoint for the VPN generate. Okay, so that's awesome. Now that we have that, I don't know, we can do a number of different things. We could probably do a reverse shell from here, or we can dive into the database. Maybe there is some credentials in the database. Let's try cat database. And here we go. So we are getting some information here. All right, so database passwords. Okay, we're not getting any passwords. Let's go back to LS then. Let's try maybe instead of LS, let's try an LSLA to see if there's any hidden things, because there is a database. So let's take a look. There is an environment file, so that's awesome. Let's go ahead and cat that environment file through a command injection. And there we go. We got super duper pass 1234 for admin. That is awesome. It looks like we didn't even need to do a reverse shell, even though I do like doing reverse shells in command injections. It looks like we may not even need it. So let's go back into the terminal. I had set up netcat for a reverse shell. In this case, I'm going to close out of it and I'm going to clear it, and let's SSH into as admin, right, into 2Million, and we're going to post that password in there. And there we go. We got our foothold. We got access to the admin account for 2Million on this machine. So that's awesome. And we don't even need to do a breakout to upgrade our TTY reverse shell, since we didn't even need to do a netcat. We just got the credentials through the .environment file that is hidden, but we discovered it through the ls-la, so through the command injection. Now we need to figure out if we need to do any type of lateral movement, or if we can sudo L and see what type of way we can start figuring out how to privilege escalate into root. But before I clear this screen, I noticed when we SSH here, and it's very easy to miss these type of things, but it says here, you have mail. And the other thing that's showing up is last login. Okay. But to run a command as administrator user root, use the sudo command, right? But see also man sudo _ root for details. So we can use the man pages to check out what the sudo _ root is for the details. And then we can also take a look at the mail. So let's go ahead and do that now. So I'm going to copy that, and I want to see what is this. Like, let's take a look at the sudo _ root through the man pages. I'm going to clear this, paste that in, and let's see. So here is the system manager's manual. Man pages is a great tool to use to figure out all about the different tools you have on your Linux machines. We can go ahead and close out of it, and if we need to, we can reference it and come back to it, but I don't see anything. What was the other thing? The other thing was we need to check where our mail is. So let's figure that out. Let's also see if there's anything hidden. In this case, I'm not seeing anything, but there is our user text flag. So now we can throw that into the HackTheBox machine if we want to. So let is cat admin. Let's clear this page and try that one more time. Here we go. We got some mail. So this is great. From chap to admin. CC Goblin. Awesome. Great guy. Let's see here. Hey, admin, I know you're working as fast as you can to do the database migration. While we're partially down, you could also upgrade the OS on our web host. There have been a few serious Linux kernel CVEs already this year. The one in overlay FS fuse looks nasty. We can't get popped by that. HackTheBox Godfather. All right, so we need to pop them. We got to pop them. We're using overlay FS. I don't know what that is, but let's go ahead. Fuse looks nasty. Okay, overlay FS. So let's go back into the main, clear it, And let's go into the browser and search for this vulnerability now that we know what we're looking for. We can go into Firefox. We'll do a vulnerability search. And let's see here what pops up. In this case, the first thing that pops up is a CVE from 2023. So that's pretty recent. Let's take a look at this. All right, introduction. I'm not going to dive too deep on this. The background on the sudo bit to overlay. Okay. Feel free to jump on how to exploit it. All right, let's take a look at it. So let's see a quick example using this code. Okay, so it looks like it's setting some sudo setting UID to 0. All right. GCC compiling it. All right, through C. Okay. Looks like it's making a bunch of different folders. Below is a diagram that shows how file changes propagate in an overlay file system. Okay, so this is an overlay file system and allows the users to merge several mount points into a unified file system. So it looks like it's making a bunch of different file systems and then merging them. And I'm assuming that's the way we're able to escalate our sudo into a root privilege. Okay, here we go. All right. So it's creating lower upper merge and then doing some type of shenanigans where it's overlaying it and merging the files. And in that file, there's probably a file that updates our sudo ID to root. I don't want to really figure any of that out. I just want to see where is the proof of concept. Is there a proof of concept? Is there a easy way of doing this? All right, head over to our GitHub repository for detailed instructions. Here's a POC. POC stands for proof of concept. Let's take a look at that. All right. And it looks like this is it. So this is our proof of concept. It looks like this is our exploits. So let's go ahead and see how are they doing this. Okay, attacker. Right. And they're curling it. We don't have to do any of that though. We could just copy this because we're already SSH'd in. Okay, so I think we could skip a lot of this. We're not gonna host it on our server since we're already SSH'd in. But it looks like we need to compile this. We need to save it as a C file, and then we need to GCC it. So we're going to copy this command. And then it looks like we might have to chmod it and then run it. Okay, so let's take a look at it. So here is from that blog what they were talking about. It looks like they're creating a bunch of different folders, multiple layers of folders. And in that folder here, is get shell C that's compiled. So in the bottom of that folder, after the merging, something happens where we're able to get a reverse shell, and in that reverse shell binary, we're able to change our sudo ID to 0 in getting root. So that's from what I'm gathering from this. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this entire file. We're not going to follow these instructions, but we're going to kind of piece it together and figure that out. We're going to go into our terminal. I'm going to cd into temp. I'm going to ls. Okay. And then let's nano poc, right? And then we're going to paste in that entire file. We're going to YOLO it. We're not going to look at it. And then we need to do this part. Okay, and then we need to chmod it and then run it. All right, let's see if that worked. And there we go, we got root. Okay, so now we can probably CD into root. Yes, yes, cat root. Awesome. Okay, so that is a very cool exploit.